about it a couple of times before, but it never really registered. Like I never even thought about it. Like you talked about it, and it kind of went in and went out because it didn't connect. And so, but when we talked a couple of nights before, we went to the delegation meeting in Orange County, and it was one of the commissioners, Commissioner Urabi, Maya Urabi, it was, who stood up and she started talking about these things. And some of the words that you were mentioning, when she started talking about it, I jumped up. I was like, I looked at you like, hey, that's what we were talking about. This is what you were schooling me on. And I'm like, wait a minute. So they got this thing planned. Yep. This is the commissioner, the person we put in charge to, for our best interest in the community, to deal with our surroundings, our money, and so on. And this person is literally letting us know, yeah, yep, there's something happening here, and we're on board
with what's going on.
With what's going on.
So let's give the audience just the essence of what was happening. We were sitting there, right? Yeah. What were we looking at with the panel and all the conversation, the chitter chatter that was happening, right? Between them and, go ahead, I'm going to let you tell the story.
Okay, so it was a busy room, and we walked in. Just from walking in, everybody's chattering, who's who and what's what of Orange County is in there. And the two of us walk in very still and taking in the room and deciding where we're going to put ourselves down. And so we decide. And so we're sitting there at the top of the room is all of the delegation. So if you don't know what that is all of our representatives here in Orange County. So I'll throw a couple of people, all of the districts that's covered. So we have the District 42, Representative Anna Escamani. We have District 17, what's his name? Oh God, Carlos Guillermo Smith. So, and then we have LaVon Bracy Davis, and we have all of these different reps. They're called the delegation of this area. And so they are sitting upon their thrones, kind of overlooking we the people. And again, what I found interesting about this is that regular, normal people weren't there. We the public, were not really there. It was just the movers and shakers of the town, the who's of what's was the ones there. And we were just peasants pretty much in the space and watching how the sausage is kind of made. And so all of the top people were there. The school board chair was there. Everybody from all the different sectors, the law and order sector were there. The school board sector were there. The churches were there. The universities were there. Everybody who's who and what were there. But the people that were missing were you and me. Well, we were there, but we the people was not there.
Tell them how the nomination happened with Lee Perry.
Oh God. Okay.
So you said this, you literally was like, okay, you see that chick right there? They're grooming her to be able to, like, you called it the whole time. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she is being groomed for what? I don't know. Obviously she'll probably be running for Congress or something at one point, State House, probably stepping stones to get her where she needs to go. Right now, she is an aide to one of the commissioners in Orange County. But yes, she's being groomed to take over, because that's what you have to do. You have to make way for new people, for younger people. And so she's being prepared to do that. So her voice is a very progressive one here in the county. I'll tell you a quick story in reference to her. About last year or so, we were one of my organizations that I'm involved with, Pine Hills Republican Women. Okay. We were looking to do some work in Pine Hills, and we were looking for churches to work with. And so we found a church. We were going to be doing a free concert for the youth. And so we found a church to put this on, and we went with that church because they had 3 schools on their property. And so we were like, okay, this is going to be a youth concert. We're going to find a whole bunch of kids to present, to give this free concert to. And so we went with that church. And so in the midst of putting it all together, the church crew let us know that our person on the ground, her name is Lee Perry, and she's the one who we coordinate with things like this. So you need to get in touch with her. So that's how I know who I became aware of who she. And so we connected with her, and so she came. The church pastor had a meeting, and they invited the Republican women, and also Lee Perry was there. And so we're in a church, and so she gets up to explain her agenda, so to speak, and what she was advocating for was, killing babies, abortion. She was advocating for the LGBTQ X, Y, and Z agenda. And we're in a church, and the pastor and the people in the church was like, what? What you talking?
Wrong audience.
This is what she literally was talking about in the church meeting. And so I never forgotten that. That's how progressive you are, to be in a church setting with a group of people, and this is what you present as, the cause that you're fighting for, the people, and that is to murder innocent babies, and to, of course, cut off children's.
So okay, so they go. They had to nominate somebody for a position.
Yeah.
Talk about the caddy and how they.
Oh my. So it was insane. So the delegation, they had to decide on the office. So who's going to be the treasurer? Who's going to be the secretary? Who's going to be the chair? And so during this meeting, there was a couple of key people that you could tell, if you're in high school, the cool kids club, right? They're the cool kids club. And so it's like, it was about 4 of them, maybe 5 of them, cool kids. They all sat together and, ready to do whatever. And so they says, well, yeah, we're going to have to nominate people. So for these, key, 3 key positions for the. And so once, who do we represent? Who do we nominate for chair?
But they're all giggling.
They're all giggling.
Okay, now it's my turn to talk. I have to say something.
She was like, look, sweet. You're who all agrees? What in the world?
It was like a bunch of kids coming together, having a good time. Going, oh, let's just do this. And it was what professional. Like you can see, it was all contrived.
And then the next one says to the secretary, she says, well, I want you to be secretary. Secretary. And so we have a panel of, what is it, 9 or 10 of them up there. And so these people, and then the other one nominates Guillermo Smith. We nominate Guillermo Smith to be secretary. So now it's all done. And so logic kind of knocked on their dream there. And somebody, Mr. Trudeau, representative district, I can't think of it. But anyway, he's a new person on this, newly elected to this seat. And so he speaks for the first time, and he says, and when they went to do everybody agree, and he says no. And they're like, we gotta know. And so so now he says, the way you're doing, I'm going to paraphrase, he says, but the way you're doing this is not really constitutional. You need to have 50% of this body to agree that you can be nominated as, the chair, as the secretary, as the treasurer. The rest of us have to participate in this democracy of this. You can't just nominate each other for each other. The rest of us have to be a part of the process.
Yep.
And they were like, what? It was the funniest thing.
How did you feel about the Republicans that were up there and their disengagement from really what was going on?
Yeah, they were really disengaged. They were just there. The only time they interacted was with whoever was on the mic speaking and they wanted something to say. But outside of that, there was 3 conservatives on there. Newly elected Miss Erica Booth, District 35, Miss Stark, representative, I forget which district she's in, and Mr. Trudeau. So it's 3 of them on there. And actually, Representative Stark says something too. After Trudeau was done, she says, there are other people in this body that brings in different skill set. You all aren't even presenting to other people like to be a part of this. You all ought to. It was like they prepared behind the scenes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna nominate you. I'm gonna nominate you, and I'm gonna say yes, and they're going to, and they did this beforehand. I would think somewhere that maybe there's rules that you're not supposed to do that, to talk about these things before you have an official thing like that. I'm kind of curious about that, because I don't think you're supposed to be having conversations about that prior to the meeting and stating who we're going to nominate for these things. So Representative Stark made a great point in stating, look, you all have concocted this thing up together where you're not even giving other people in this body an opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Okay, so we're sitting behind. We make a comment. The woman in front of us turns around and says,
well, this is how it's done in Tallahassee. And well, before she did that, newly elected Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith said it at the top, and that's when I said my comment. So he jumped into the mix and he says, I'm going to paraphrase, just to put it in my own words. He says, well, in Tallahassee, the Republicans have the majority and they're able to pick who's going to be chair, who's going to be secretary, who's going to do this and whatever committees. And, but here in Orange County, right here, we have the majority and we're going to pick whoever we want. And so I said, did you pick up on what he just said? Like, what? And so then I tried to, because you were fussing with something, I remember. And I tried to repeat it so you could hear. And the woman in front of us turned around to tell me, well, there's nothing wrong with that. This is how they do it in Tallahassee. Then they're just following the protocol. And so if they do it like that in Tallahassee, they can do it here in Orange County. They're just following how Tallahassee runs things under the Republican majority. So it was crazy.
So why would somebody adopt that mentality instead of cleaning up and saying, okay, you're right, people behind me, they shouldn't be doing that, but they're doing that in Tallahassee. So we should address these people in front of us and we should address the people in Tallahassee. She didn't do that.
No.
Instead, she acquiesced and said, we're just going to use that to our advantage because we can do that. Yeah. No morals and no scruples?
No caring. No. And you could tell from what I could tell, as soon as I saw where she was going, I was done with the whole exchange with her, because I could see that she was, it's those vote blue no matter who type people, we're in this, we're going to vote blue down ballot. It doesn't matter who it is, what it is. That was like what I picked up from her right then and there. Like, she is a servant of who these people are, and therefore logic doesn't come into play. So, so I just sort of put her down and, focused on the rest of the drama that was going on up there.
So my question to you is, do you feel that we, the people, the Christian people, the ones who have faith in the Father, do you think we were really represented?
No, we were not. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons I say that now. If you remember, while we were there, I started noticing all of the artwork around the room. I started noticing it, and They were like really creepy, like demonic, if I may say that. Very demonic. It was just weird. The artwork all over, like skeletons and like zombie stuff, demonically creepy stuff. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm just like, the energy in this from these people is exactly what's on this wall. Demonic. And I'm just like, this is a room where the people's business is done in Orange County. This is the room where where your business is being done, my business is being done, your business being done.
Right.
In that room. No. So to answer your question, no, I do not feel like the people or the Christian people were really represented there. Right. Even though they opened it up in prayer, and I just have to say,
who is their God, though? You can say the word God.
Who is their God? And I'm going to just throw this in because it just came back to me. So at last cycle, not this one. So the last cycle, I went to the delegation meeting, and the prayer was done by LaVon Bracy. And she is, and she'll tell you, because she said it right then. She says, I'm the granddaughter of a pastor. I am the daughter of a pastor. I am the wife of a pastor. With so much pastoring in her fame, with so much pastoring in God in her, this is the person who stands on the podium to abort and kill babies. Your babies. This is what they advocate for. With so much God in you, with so much God. I mean, you were literally birthed out of the
hypocrisy. Christianity is what happens, the dumbing down, the it's okay, the inclusive. I mean, it's coming down from the Catholic Church. The Pope said, every way is the way to Father, and, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to proclaim the name of Jesus. And so it's coming down from the head all the way down. But there's an agenda and why they're doing this kind of stuff.